right, everyone, welcome to the pre-market Monday open stream, and it's all about Tesla today. Yes, the stock rumor. Well, anyway, the vote is going to be going out now for a stock split. We all know how this ends. It's almost ridiculous, but certainly if you're a Tesla hodler, you are feeling good. So Tesla stock split hype. You can see here Tesla announcing on their Twitters, Tesla will ask shareholders to vote at this year's annual meeting to authorize additional shares in order to enable a stock split. There we go. So what do you think about that, everyone? I think it obviously means that the market is going to have three massive stocks going into split: Google, Amazon, and Tesla. It just couldn't get any better, could it? In terms of splits. Wow. It is going to certainly put a rocket ship under a lot of these markets. And you can already see here the US 500 likes it, the US 100 likes it, and the US 30 even likes it. 0.28% up. People that are bears will be so upset about today. Fair enough. It's pretty much mass manipulation when you think about it. If you start splitting, are you really creating extra growth? Not really. You're just creating a great time if you're in it to the long side. So, do I like Tesla today? The answer is yes, guys, because I took delivery of my very first Tesla vehicle today. And I'll say this, it's definitely weird. And what I mean by weird is the experience is certainly totally different to what many would expect from car companies. You kind of just rock in there, person at the front's like, what's up? What are you here for? And then he takes you into a dark corner. And that dark corner turns into another dark corner. And then all of a sudden you're in a shed filled with thousands of or hundreds of Teslas. Hundreds of Teslas just floating on everybody. Yes, I got the white color. 80% of them were white. Let's just say that. No one's paying for that metallic color. But the other color would be blue. Then it was red. So, yeah, I've taken it. It's pretty good. Thank you very much for joining us. If you could throw that thumbs up button or give us a like here for the open. Obviously, we'll be talking about everything to do with stocks, cryptos. Crypto's going crazy. Lucky we started turning bullish on those about a week and a half ago. That was fantastic. Anyone in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything else right now, let me know. We'll just quickly take a minute here to fix up a few things for the stream. Hopefully you have started to recognize that these markets, they're starting to switch. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy, this risk on. And it might go against everything that you believe in right now. Maybe you believe the markets are buggered. That's fair enough. But unfortunately, that's not always the way it is. So let me just quickly load in a few other things here. All right, there we go. Let's see what everybody else is into. Been buying crypto all through the storm, says Valdo Rin. All right, buying when people are fearful. Very good. Paul Scaglia says, cool, you got your Tesla a day when Tesla took off. That's true. That's true. It did happen. And John Doe says, oil just keeps on going. You mean down? Yeah, wow. Let's just have a look here at oil. So the problem for oil is I've thought it's over for a little bit. And whenever this rally basically got busted, I've been talking about this, which is a return into this area, the 50 to the 78.6 fib. Very common to happen after such a big bust. I still think oil will kind of float around for a little bit. I find it doubtful it's going to go make new lows just yet. But yeah, I mean, from everybody thinking, oh, oil is going to 150, 160 a barrel, I would say it's highly statistically unlikely from a technical standpoint and from a data standpoint. Okay, statistically unlikely it's going to go up that much more. It's more likely to find little levels of support. Where it is right now is technically a level of support. We'll find out how it rallies off here and just kind of float for a bit. And then we'll find, I would guess that the fun or the party is ended in oil. And now we're going to move lower over time over the next few months. Is it the best market to be trading right now? I would say probably not. oil, the big fun game is probably over. This was a great trade down here. If you're in it, to at least the 50 or the 61.8 fib. I was also hoping maybe even a 78.6 might occur. Looks like that seems unlikely. But yeah, it's not an easy trade here right now. The party's over and we're on to the next parties. So where are the next parties? Well, they're going to be in certain stocks. So another one that's doing quite well here is utilities. I mean, yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah, utilities is starting to break out to the upside here. You look at this on an index, XLU. Anyone know in the chat, what type of pattern does that look like? Can anyone spot the pattern? Give me the pattern, everybody. Rob C, good to have you here. Simon says, hey, Tom, when do you think it's best level to short the NAS? We'll take a look at the NAS and S&P very soon. Kim says, FX Evolution, commodities super cycle thoughts. You have to pretty much predict stagflation, Kim, and that would be good. Look, I would say yes, commodities are going into a very good cycle. They've been incredibly strong already. I would say there'll be good and bad kind of moves in it, but you could certainly think of that. Stagflation is the big risk here. Does a brother says cup of tea and a handle. Okay, fair enough. So he's basically going with a larger one, the cup and handle concept. There's the handle. Fair enough. Some people are going to say ascending triangle. I think so. That's the one I'm looking at. Problem with cup and handles sometimes I can find is that they give you these really crazy trades that you end up believing and they don't tend to work as often. So this is a little ascending and you can see that the utilities broke out. Interesting because it's not a very loved sector. But if you look at utilities, so remember if you look at utilities versus that's the one versus RSP. You'll notice that utilities has been underperforming for a very long time. This is the equal weighted market. What's happened recently is utilities has kind of bottomed. So effectively we have resistances here and we have a support. So utilities broke out, it's come down, and theoretically, if you believe in things such as Wyckoff and you believe in things such as accumulation bottoms, that kind of looks like it's making a break for it. And you would be looking at that and saying, utilities, Tom, is the worst sector I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, fair enough. But the TA technically is there. It's not going to give you the crazy percentages that you get in tech or anything like that, but it's certainly, a bit more interesting than some would. All right, let's get off utilities. Let's talk about the actual market itself. What most of you here to discuss, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, what is going on? Well, thanks to Tesla and the split news, the markets got high. And I've been talking for a little while right now that you would be kind of potentially going into some danger trying to short this market after this point here, after effectively the 16th. From a technical standpoint, it breached the downward trend. It breached the 20 moving average. And as I've said many times, certain things that I talk about in mentoring, and it takes a long time to conceptually understand them, are saying that this market is actually going to rally at this point. Now, if we believe in resistances during rallies, where would the best place, theoretically, I'm going to ask the chat here. The chat knows. I know you know, chat. Theoretically, from a technical standpoint, where could we potentially short this market if you were going to give it a shot? Simon says, Tom, are you back to the pre-market? We'll talk about that a little bit more very soon. We are back to the pre-market. We'll be doing the pre-market show now every Monday live going through. I think that'll be fun for you guys. And I'll talk about what we're doing for the Tuesday through to the Thursday moving forward. Tesla split again. That is correct, Thacker. It has happened. Tesla split. Thank you very much to the 356 viewers here. If you can give us a bit of a thumbs up, bit of a like on the channel would help us out. But since we're back to the Monday streams, I know a lot of people have been crazy with the schedule recently. Unfortunately, I've got to make some decisions here. DJ AJ says 4,600. AR says 4,600. 4,600 from Simon Ray and a few others. Yeah, makes sense. 4,600 is previous resistance, previous support, previous resistance, previous resistance. It would make some type of sense. Now, do we have a fib over the whole move either on that point? I don't think so, but let's have a look anyway. Okay, so we don't. So we're sitting on about, let's call it the 61.8 area at this point. So somewhere around in here, it would be pretty damn good. And I guess you'd want me to draw it to that level. So we're basically sitting around that 61.8 fib. So in this area does make sense for the market to weaken. Okay, that's where you start looking for the sign of weakness. Now, does that mean it's going to crash and go through the floor and go back down to lows straight away? I find that highly doubtful, because if we did get a market fall, 4,500 and that 44.20, which someone else mentioned here, S Tradilistic mentioned here. Thank you very much for being members, by the way, everybody. We've got here resistance, support, and a 2050. I mean, that is just such great dynamic support. I can't ignore the dynamic support of those two moving averages. So if we do get falls, do we expect it to be bought back up? I think the answer is yes at this stage. It looks like this is a recovery. Now, am I convinced that this is going to all-time highs and off to the moon and the sun and the everything else? No, I'm not. I've talked about it a lot. But today, it looks like it's going to try to go green. Let's have a look here at the 1 and 2 hour charts. Let's go in the 1 hour and 2 hour charts. So no matter what indicator you bring on, let's just bring on some indicators, because everybody's been talking about indicators and they're saying, look at the RSI, Tom, look at this, look at it all. So can anyone tell me the problem with the RSI on a 2 hour chart? John B says dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounce happened in January. This is not a dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounce generally is a very sharp move to the upside that is instantly reversed. I have enough feeling in terms of watching other professional traders, not what you think, by the way. It doesn't mean watching YouTube traders or anything like that. I'm talking about watching other key leading indicators where they can tell me what's going on. They're buying here. They were not buying in the same way over here. It's a different flow. So a lot of people are going to say divergence. You are correct. Absolutely. There's divergence. Okay. There's our divergence. You can see it's making a series of higher highs. Yet the RSI is saying, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Now, the problem with RSI, now I'm not saying divergences don't work. They certainly do. We teach them in our course. Obviously, it's an important aspect. The problem sometimes is it can be like this for a little while. And you think about other times where it's gone up. So here you had RSI divergence as well. I mean, we all admit we did have RSI divergence, and then all of a sudden actually got stronger. This is the problem. By itself, we have just disproved whether this works all the time. It certainly doesn't. Like most technical indicators, they don't work by themselves all the time. What we're trying to do is bring together multiple reasons for us to be in trade. So a lot of people, this second argument, and I want to hear arguments from the chat. Let's go through some arguments here towards the weakness side. You tell me what to bring on for the weakness, because right now I'm only seeing strength, and any kind of weakness is going to be met by potential buying pressure, it looks like. So another people are saying volume. Has anyone ever proved that declining volume on an increasing market is actually incredibly bearish? I know you all think that. A lot of people do. But over here, was this crappy volume on the increase? Absolutely. It was crappy volume. Very low compared to last time. So that's also a bit of a struggle. Welcome to the 414 people here. Thank you so much for giving us a like. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it very much. Few people coming in here saying, oddly enough, VIX up over 3%. Yes, well, the VIX, or the bearish indicator, the fear indicator in many ways, actually jumping here in the morning. So it's gone down now to 20. Now, where do I like to buy the VIX if I'm a crazy person and I buy the VIX? I do talk about this quite regularly. I like to buy the VIX around 20. Why? Because that's the fight of the bulls and the bears. I feel almost like it's opening just to create that thing. But 20 is certainly a key level. We love the 20. Look at this. It hits just under 20. Over here, it hits what? 20.28. So Elysium says Dow to gold ratio. Oh, okay. So Dow gold ratio. So let's just load up the right Dow. 1 second. So where I haven't heard that one in a while. Dow to gold. Obviously, someone must be talking about it recently. Dow to gold. Chuck that on there. Okay. So again, what are we looking for here in the Dow to gold ratio over time? So if we bring this up into a weekly, probably need more stats than this. So we probably should use maybe the something else, I guess. Pretty sure it's like that. We'll use an old one. Okay. So we look at something like this. How's that going to help us? We have to conceptually understand whether this is going to therefore affect us. Kramer is too weight. Kramer is bullish. Well, if Kramer is bullish, that could be bearish. Yeah, you're right. But even if Kramer is bullish now, he can be bullish for a while and still be correct. Remember, it's more about Kramer's stock picks than anything else. Marvin the Martian says, yeah, I got feeling I'll be pulled back after so many green days, plus check out the 2-year. And we'll look at the 2-year in a second. But yeah, 2-year up 2.72%, yet the US 10-year 2.479 up nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some problems here, but remember, it can continue to go up for a little bit, and then there's problems. We're in the danger zone. There's no doubt. 45, 55 to 46. I mean, it's not that much percentage-wise. So if we load up something like this, Vix is just the dude with his finger in the wind. Yeah, absolutely. If we load up stuff like this and we look at it, I'm not really too sure that this is a incredibly strong indicator for telling us shortness or strength. Now, I've never been able to personally use it very effectively. I mean, if the Dow is going up against the gold, sure. You can say here, all right, well, it was weakening. The Dow was weakening. And the market ended up destroying itself. Over here, the Dow was weakening and destroyed itself. I'd have to look into it more to prove it or disprove it. But I remember I haven't actually ever seen a full proof of this working over the long term. And I mean long term, like I want to see it go 20, 30 years. I don't want to just see it do one-time iterations. I want it to do 20, 30 years. Who says that's a flag? The hell kind of flag is this? Really? A monthly flag? Nah. Don't think so. So I've never really done this. Thoughts on trade long XLF short SPY or long USTs / IEF ETF? Yeah, I don't know. I think whenever you look at a ratio, take a ratio back throughout time. I want to see more than just like a few times in history. Like over here, it worked okay. And you might have said, well, okay, it was predicting horror for a long time. But I just don't find this, when I look at this on a chart, it doesn't show clarity to me, considering I know what the market did over these periods. Doesn't show me clarity. I need clarity, guys. Clarity, clarity, clarity. So here we've got the US 100. Where is that going to have problems? So we talked about 4,600 being a big issue for the S&P, which is something we'll certainly be paying attention to. I think that something like the US 100, we've got 15K coming up, big psychological number. And the previous resistance is sitting around 15,100 plus a daily 200 MA sitting right on it, SMA. Again, if this rallies a little bit further, could we have problems in these zones? I think so. In fact, I think it's worth boxing these areas. Let's box them. I'm not bearish, but I'm certainly going to box these areas up. So about 15,000 to that daily 200 SMA. Important. US 500, worthwhile boxing certainly that up as well. Pretty much where it is now, 61.8 fib of the pull to where it is now. Now, which one am I going to trust more? Well, I'm going to trust the S&P 500 more than the NASDAQ because this tends to lead to better indicators. It leads to better signals. Think about the US 500. Why do we all follow this? Because it gives you clean entries. In hindsight, you might look at this and say, oh, well, that was easy. This is the FOMC candle. This is a double bottom. This is a break of a downward trend. I've been talking here about the bullish action of this market and saying, please don't try to short because I don't know if it's going to destroy itself. And it's going to be met mostly by buyer demand. That's the big issue here. So long XLF, short the SPY. Somebody said that's odd. It's not odd. Long short ratios are certainly pretty okay. So when you look at this, it can tell you something about whether a market is strong or weak versus the other. So this is long XLF, so long financial, short the SPY. And I think what you're doing here is you're saying, okay, let's say we're in stagflation, or let's say we're in a period of continuing rising rates. What happened in the past at that point? So here is, where did rates rise last time? Basically all this 03, 04. And I think the problem I have with this trade is mostly it just kind of sat. So if you're just collecting, like it just sat during this period of time. This was a period of rising rates. I don't know. I'd have to actually look into it further. But for me, I'm looking for other periods of time where similar things have happened. I'm not seeing anything that I'm loving just yet. But I could talk to Chris and find out what his thoughts were. At this stage, I'm just seeing it stuck in this area for now. Gary says XLF SPY looks like Wyckoff accumulation. Yeah, I mean, if it breaks out, sure, we've got some action potential here. I mean, I love the start of trends coming off these kind of massive flows that have been sitting here for ages. But we're sitting in the middle at this stage. Look, I'll be back in about I'll be back in about a minute, guys. I just need to take a quick break. I'll be back in about a minute to 2 minutes. Get some questions ready. Chuck them in the room. And we'll answer quite a few of them when coming back. Remember the big news so far, Tesla stock split rumor, which is probably the reality coming through. We'll also talk about crypto in just a few minutes. 4,600, big technical resistance for the US 500. Will we reach it today? We'll find out soon. All right, I'm back. People say Tom is withdrawing liquid funds to invest in wheat. Yeah, I'm not going back to those wheats. Don't worry about that. Let's actually have a look here at the pre-market, though. It's all about coin. It's all about Tesla. Why is coin going up? Well, of course, Bitcoin's breaking out. Maybe take a look at that a little bit later. And Pin Duo also going up here. Neo, Telefonica, a few other stocks. Let's go to the negative side. JD down hard, 3.52. And then we have nothing else that most of you trade there, it seems. Okay, so there's some of the big stocks coming in here, but we need to actually get this out a little bit so we can get a few more. There we go. Nvidia up 1. It's really mostly a Tesla kind of day. Twilio, I notice, also opens up a little bit green there. So we've been doing XLF SPY. Today, currently coming in very aggressive in comparison to the Asian session. The Asian session opened up down like 0.4% at one point. Now it's up 0.4%. So that's almost we're getting close on a 0.8 to 1% switch. US 2-year, certainly a big thing as well. US 2-year currently up 2.46%. US 10-year down 0.36%. So that is getting close to inversion. You can see here 2.332 versus 2.47. Not a good sign for the long-term movements in these markets. A few people saying, are you bullish or bearish today? I think if you get past these last highs, e.g. the US 100 here, and you get past this 14.847, it seems likely that we'll probably try to go up a little bit further. Currently, it's coming through. Like any good Monday, you're really looking for a reaction play based on more than your opinion. So what I mean by that is you're looking for the trap that gets set consistently on Mondays. Mondays come in, sometimes they're red, then they'll go bullish. Sometimes they're hugely green, then they'll go red. And why? Well, that's the general way they kind of work. And that's because they love to trap retail traders with their fresh money, kind of comes through on Friday and they're ready to put it in. They stick it in straight away in the market open. So say like you breach this high. Let's use the actual NDX for an example. NDX. You breach this high, 14.8, and then you pull back to 14.8 and you create bullish hammer or a tweezer bottom. All right, as we know them. If you create a tweezer bottom, similar to what we did last week, well, it's a very bullish signal. Very bullish indeed. It's come up, broken through, come back, found some buying pressure, off it goes. 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart, 15-minute chart, whatever it might be. If we breach out and then fully reverse, some kind of reversal like that, or a big engulf that comes back against it, after breaching in the first hour of power, could be a massive trap that just set the way up. And that's when you're a day trader or you're scalping, you're really looking to try to be reactive to something moving through. You're trying to stack those odds in your favor. If you're looking at when do the bears get involved more in this market, think about this. Do you have a trend line here on the NDQ? Do you have a trend line here on the US 100? I would say yes, you do. You have a trend line going through these last troughs. Not too bad. If you breach to a new low, so let's say you go like this, is that negative? I'll ask the chat. Do you think that's negative? I would say that's probably going to be negative towards that. Thank you also to the 500 people joining us right now. If you could smash that like button, it does help us out because it's the first time we've done the pre-market on the Monday for a little while right now. Gary says yes means we will go lower and at least grab some liquidity. Yeah, you would think so. At this point, once it breaches underneath something like that, you would probably think, okay, it makes sense. We're in the parameters of where the market probably should be having a go at pulling back. Now, I'm not saying pull back now is a great time, like, we should short this market or anything. I'm just saying that when you see certain things occur, it becomes more likely that you're going to be correct on that. And you've also got to think about how big this level is actually. This level is 14,650. It's found resistance, breached, come down, that's found support there second time and bounced through. So if that occurs, what becomes an open level for pullback traders? Well, the daily 20 moving average. The daily 20 moving average is quite far away. So it's starting to go a little bit against that. I think it's hard to short this market, but from a day trader scalper perspective, some of them may work. You've got to be very nimble. You've got to be fast. Big resistance, I still think, is around 15,000 to 15,150, right around that area there. Previous highs, 15K just seems very likely. And again, that would coincide with the 4,600 S&P. Let's go and have a look at the 15-minute S&P. 15-minute S&P, pretty good closure here on the Friday, obviously, or pretty good movement, sorry, here on the Monday. And here we've got the trend line again. So we've got this trend line that's going through these lows. Is it strong? It's pretty good. You can use the log chart here to get it through. Let's actually see if it extrapolates out a bit. Nah, I wouldn't say so. I'd say that'd be curve fitting if we fall it in. So we'll just leave it where it is. And I think that's not too bad. If we breach past this, bad things, because all of a sudden we go bang, 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 get through there, previous resistance, big support. One of the levels that I will put on this chart this week, 45.20. Why? Kind of makes sense. We've breached through the previous high over here, plus we'd be getting through the trend line at the same time. Wouldn't be a positive action. At this stage, still looks bullish. That's at least the way that I conceptualize these markets right now. Does it mean that you have strong edge in these trades today or these levels? I mean, they're getting better. They're not too bad. I mean, when you get to a level where you've traded a lot, you've done a lot of hours in front of the chart, sometimes you'll have incredible edge. Sometimes you'll say, you know what, damn, that's a really good position. And you'll feel incredibly confident. And when you feel confident, maybe that's a time to be like Druckenmiller. You know, to play the role of the strong kind of positional. Over here, we live streamed last week. I remember this, 22nd was the Tuesday. We saw a rally that busted off a 4-touch high, or at least a 3-touch high. It then got sold off. And near the end of that stream in the open, what did we have? Bullish wicks, tweezer bottom here. Very strong. I was literally yelling at the screen because those are the types of things that tend to work out here. So it's certainly, you know, pretty impressive kind of trade. And if I could see that again, doesn't matter how many times I'd see it, I'd always go the same direction with the same, like that's like a snapshot in your mind. What you're trying to do is you're trying to snapshot these types of things. Hopefully that makes some sense. It makes sense to you guys? Trying to snapshot quality setups that you've seen before that you can replicate on a replicatable basis. And just like that, you're really looking here at a trend line that you need to say, okay, well, have I been able to replicate trend lines like this and have successful style trades? Are we seeing divergences on the indices? Yes, the RSI is, the others are as well. Cody says, is ARK ready to rebound? Well, that's the question I think we want to ask today. Not so much just ARK, but what about some of these lagging stocks? Let's go through some of them right now. Let's do some. I'm going to give you my personal opinion on these stocks. Roku. Me, not a stock I like. Why? Its moat, in my opinion, is being thrashed by people like Google and others. I have never liked Roku. I do not understand it. If you like Roku, I'm sorry. That sucks if you like Roku because it's been going down for so long. So it's not one that interests me. And I think the market's clearly telling you, maybe it's not that interested either. Does it look great on the chart? Not really. It's not giving us any signs of, oh, we love it so much. It's so great. Let's have a look at some absolute horror shows. PayPal, a horror show for many. Even here, you know, we go back into history. Was I bullish on PayPal right there? Yes, I was, because I liked the resistance becoming support. I remember very clearly, obviously with all good trades, you have an entry, a stop loss, and a take profit. And that was a crap trade. And it's been kind of crap for a while, but it hasn't actually given a buy signal in a long time, at least the way I see buy signals. It consolidated here for a while, but it never breached through. People hate this stock right now. They hate it. But down here, you get to this point, and I never really hear of anyone talking about it at the moment. Is it cheap? Well, maybe. I put some information out there about some stuff. Let me bring it up. So one of them is obviously some earnings. We are seeing earnings we're actually seeing an increase here of sales per share. From in terms of price to sales ratio, it's the cheapest it's been really ever. The problem, obviously, EPS decline / stagnation. Definitely a problem. Is this cheaper than it was? Well, it's back around here on this listing price. Interesting. Then we go back over to the PayPal price from a technical standpoint. Can anyone else see something that's happened, especially recently, with the current price action that I've got on this screen? Can anyone see? Denial phase Bitcoin says no FOMO, sell tech on the rip. Yeah. Gary Sayani says, Tom, how bullish are monthly tweezers on the indices? Yeah, I've seen that. I guess fairly bullish, you would think. But I haven't seen enough of them, Gary, to really know how good it's been. So most of you will say a drop in volume. Oh, maybe recently a little drop, but I think consistent volume through the low and actually more volume than there was through a lot of the drop. So this is still a higher level of volume. Do you know who purchased? Does anyone know the politician who purchased some PayPal recently? One of your favorites, many of your favorites. We're not getting into politics, but I just wanted to say that, as you know, in America, sometimes the people that purchase, it can be pretty big here. Thorak Saab says ARK sold off some Tesla last week. They're forced to. You need to understand one thing, and that is when they get past their little holding of 10%, they have to trim it down. Okay? They've got to trim it down. They are forced to by their own mandates. Pelosi, that's right. Pelosi has some PayPal now, as of about a month or two ago. Interesting. She's in it. So we do have a double bottom here. We obviously had a little increase. This is still very low in comparison to others that have improved. So what you can sometimes do if you haven't really done this type of stuff is you can potentially bring PayPal versus Square. Well, how's PayPal doing versus Square price? It's been horrible. It's actually on its lows. So as a ratio, remember, a lot of people don't ratio trades. You need to give me a subscribe. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't been ratioing trades to figure out whether things are cheap or not versus their peers. Is this cheap? Well, PayPal certainly is not expensive. In fact, it's on its lowest ratio since 18. Now, does that mean the business is completely destroyed? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a fundamental expert on PayPal. I'm not going to say I am. But when you're looking at it as a ratio, is it cheap? The answer is theoretically yes from a TA standpoint. Brent says, greatest trader in history, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, she's pretty good. So see how when you bring these things up and you start to conceptualize it differently, and this is what I want to do with these streams now. I want to show you some of the things that I think about. This is a place where I can talk to you about these ideas. Because these ideas, in essence, are what I start to get into the mentoring with, what I talk about. Now, obviously, there I go insane and I tell you everything I do. And I think it's well worth it. But this is the way that we consider these markets. Ratios are what big traders do. They start to figure out whether it's cheap or expensive. So you could do other ratios here. Someone's mentioning here AMD versus NVIDIA. Yes, we'll talk about them. Don't worry, guys. You want AMD versus NVIDIA right now. You're like AMD versus NVIDIA. Is AMD cheap versus NVIDIA in comparison terms? Well, it's actually on its lowest points for a while now. So NVIDIA has been performing quite well versus AMD. Now, AMD has been much lower. At one point, AMD was horrible as a ratio. So certainly down there in the cheapness. Now, if you were looking at this, you'd be a bit scared because you might say, well, that looks like a descending triangle. And it's kind of in a decline. That's a bit worrying there. But let's look at each one of the stocks. So AMD over here. Don't know why there's two of these, so we'll get rid of that. We'll go to regular for a second so we can get that trend line a little bit better. Log is good for crypto. It's only okay for stock, in my opinion. Better for crypto. Crypto, log all day, guys. Log all day. But in the stock world, yeah. So look, is there a lot of volume? Yes. Did it break out? Yes. Is AMD looking better on the chart? It looks not bad. You've got a double bottom. You've obviously got a bit of a rally. The problem is that AMD has been performing. It looks kind of like any one of these indices, like a NASDAQ or anything like that. It's actually underperforming this index itself. So that's either A, because it's going to play catch up, or B, it's actually a little bit sick. And I think the recent price action kind of showed us that it was a little bit sick. Is $100 big? Yes. Right now we have a long leg doji on it. So if you're thinking, oh, okay, well, how do I, consider what's going on right now? We've had kind of some rejection candles followed by bullishness. I think the essence here is mostly bullish, but I'd like to see, as a day trader, I'd like to see it make a new peak. Not necessarily close, but certainly make a new peak. That would be something that I would be watching on a technical chart. Obviously looking for these kind of technical signs. NVIDIA, a little bit different. Breakout. Currently in a bit of a gamma squeeze, I guess. Again, long leg doji could come down. If it does, will it find support here? You'd think it would. And then it could start to move back up. Semiconductors certainly improving here. SMH, Vanex Semiconductor Index, improving as well. One of the ones that I was looking at was somebody today, Micron. Pretty ugly on the charts, but certainly getting through something like an 80-50. Suddenly we've got a lightning bolt. So things can really start to move here. And semiconductors are a little bit behind the rest of the market right now. Obviously, earnings here is a bit scary. Did I miss anything for Amazon? Not yet, Paul. We haven't done it. So AMD is, it looks good on the chart. I'm not going to say it looks bad. It does look strong. But, surprisingly, the old Intel's coming through with the goods better in some ways. You've got here the double bottom, Intel releasing a whole bunch of new architecture. I believe they've kind of caught up a little bit here. And another thing that's been occurring is we've seen Intel move into graphics cards, I believe. So some people are getting bullish back on that. Again, another chart. There's so many charts that are starting to look better here. So many charts. SE found resistance, not doing so well now. 109 in today's market. 109, 5.36% down. Went up to 129, found resistance on previous support and rolled over. Is there support somewhere around this 110, 100? Maybe. Just looking through these stocks, Square back down to where it previously found resistance. Is that a level of support? Well, I've got it boxed. Resistance, potential support, 20-50 moving average, Wyckoff accumulation, big volume. People talk about Intel now like they did AMD back in the early 2010s. Yeah, it's all cyclical. These companies tend to get ahead, get arrogant. The other one gets ahead. They get arrogant, kind of moves. Dab G says, do you use which ratios to decide which stocks to trade when deciding between two on the same sector, between having good looking charts? I think that you want to usually be taking the winningest kind of positions. So yeah, the winningest stocks or the best stocks with the best track record over the last 5 years in times of, which one are you going to pick? Yeah, you would be picking the one with the better track record in general. That's the general consensus of what you would generally be doing, yes. So you've got here resistance, support. Is Square interesting at this price? Well, I think traders are making the decision maybe today. They're liking what they see. All right, we had some questions coming in about Amazon. Amazon still looks pretty good on the charts. Obviously, the downward trend line has been breached. Some decent price action here, almost like a long leg to doji over 2 days. 200 and this level. Would I prefer Amazon a little bit cheaper? Of course. From a day trade right now, I'd say it's stuck in the middle. Harry Ride says, in 15 minutes, do you think the NAS will go up or go down? Take a guess. I don't know, down. Complete random guess. Based on absolutely nothing. The only reason I would, well, it's only based on one thing, and that was there was a lot of hype. But it's complete guess, bro. All right, let's go back. So Tesla trading at 1,072, getting close to that 1,100. Remember, around 1,100 is going to find, you would think, some form of resistance. That's a big round number. The hype's real on this stock. Very scary if you're trying to go against that. Coinbase, 3.974. So let's talk about some coins. Let's talk about Bitcoin to start off with. So I pretty much like this Bitcoin move. I really posted this on the Twitter just a few days ago. So if you go over to Twitter and you scroll down, one thing I said here, Bitcoin shorts are continuing to decline while crypto markets are stable. Ethereum currently looking to break out ? Now, the reason why I said that, and you'll notice I don't post too many charts, but when I do, I usually mean them a little bit better, is because BTC shorts was in heavy decline. Bitcoin was stabilizing. And at the same time, we've seen Ethereum breach its downward trend line. Logarithmic is how you should have this. Double bottom here, breaks through. We go over to where we are right now in this market. So let's now load up the old Ethereum. Where is Ethereum? Well, it's run off into the sun and it's starting to improve quite nicely. 3,339. Bitcoin, 47,242. I'm not going to go into the full explanation of how I kind of started to go more bullish on this. But one thing I would say is it's worthwhile using ratios when it comes to, obviously, cryptos. If you don't use FBTC ratio, I think you're making a big mistake. Why? Because FBTC ratio can show you whether risk is on within the market itself or risk is off. And what you can start doing is you can do like a Ethereum versus a basket of DOT, Solana, other kind of big alts, and find out when they're starting to fire as well. A totally different way to how many people have done this. Totally different way. Yeah, right, Harry. Yeah. Total guess. We're just saying, I don't think so, sir. No sell for you. FBTC. Now, does anyone notice what's currently occurring on FBTC? The chat tells us, the big brains in the chat, what is going on right now? What EMA, MA levels are you using? 20 exponential moving average, 50 exponential moving average, and a 200 simple. I've always used the same ones. There are reasons. 20. If I was going to say which is the good one, 20. The 20 all day. So what's currently happening on this market here? Welcome 600 people. Someone's saying it's coiling up. Yeah, it's coiling. But I think what it's showing you is that Ethereum and BTC are currently moving in lockstep. Now, we have a lot of resistance around this 0.072 ratio. If you believe this is coiling or whatever, it's in lockstep and it breaches out of that point there, do you think Ethereum is going to perform better versus Bitcoin? I would say yes. I think it is going to do better versus Bitcoin. And in fact, I would argue in some ways that Ethereum is actually discounted to Bitcoin by about maybe 12% at the moment. So if this market is going to go up, is Ethereum going to most likely outperform Bitcoin in the future? Yes. But if this market starts going down, which one will outperform? Well, there's no question that BTC tends to outperform all markets in the crypto market. This is the S&P 500. This is the NASDAQ. That's how it is. Bitcoin is an S&P. Ethereum is the NASDAQ. All the other coins are weird things that trade based on risk off kind of asset, obviously hype, all those things. Fernando says USDT TA is important to forecast crypto moves. Incredibly important. It's like any currency. If you put it against the major, the stable, that's the most important. This is ratio style moves within a move. So certainly something that I like to do. Let's now have a look at coin itself, because coin is one of the ways that people can get access to cryptos in the normal stock market. And this is the current market in terms of how it's been since the IPO. Now, I have said very many times I hate US IPOs unless you're in early and you're an early adopter before the IPO itself. They tend to have really bad performance. Now, it's been here live since the April of 21. So actually, it's almost a 1-year anniversary. Congratulations, coin. It's almost within the zone of interest. Remember, I don't like looking at these stocks usually before 12 months is up, and then we come back to it. So here is a monstrous declining trend line. It is pretty bad. It's been very, very, very horrible now for multiple months, and it started to improve. Was there a max kind of pain trade? I would argue yes. Have we had a nice little level of accumulation? I would also argue yes. Is the volume higher than it was? I would say no, it's not. Earnings is at least out of the way now. And earnings must have been slightly positive because it went up, which is a good sign. Then it went new low, taking out a lot of shorts, creating a maximum amount of pain. And now it's going to go up 3.88 to take us to 193. So I think around this 200 to 220 range, if we manage to breach through, this has shown me the first signs of what I like to call a technical recovery. So a technical recovery seems to be on here for coin, but it is still susceptible to really Bitcoin and what it does. It's really just a proxy for that kind of trade. Remember, the big issue here is this, the 200 to the 210, previous 1, 2, 3 touches, resistance. That's my big issue there. Daniel Polk says, we see why you don't like the IPOs. Yeah, well, I mean, I learned before most people that they were bad because they always come in bad. Remember, I've been here since for a while. So I learned during Facebook. I learned during Twitter. I learned during all of those ones that they were horrors. Hood is another example of a horror. Someone asked before, has it bottomed out? Certainly showing the first good signs. I mean, earnings, it went up. That's a good sign. I like the stocks that have earnings and they've been going up recently. Why? Because the market is kind of saying, well, maybe this was capitulation. Maybe this was a little bit too low for that stock price. It's bought heavily off that each time. So I think it's pretty clear the market really likes 1050 and below. It really likes it. It's back at a point of previous resistance acting as support. I tell you what, it looks better than it ever has. It looks better than it ever has. That's not saying much because it's been pretty horror. It's been a horror show. The volume is also pretty decent, it looks like. Look at this. Nice volume. Decent volume. What is the chat thing? Chat, tell me what you think about this stock. Jason Bale says coin has decent valuations for an IPO. At what price? On day one or day now? Day one or day now would be the question. What's Snapchat doing? We'll check out that a little bit. Wow. Okay, people think they should long it. The chat likes longs here. The chat's giving you their opinion, which is good. Well done, chat. You're making your opinion heard. So they like the old hood. The good Chad says, I am long the hood. The good Chad. Alex Casio says, not too big on the hood. Fair enough. Interesting. I mean, it's right on support. If you get the right turnaround here and you see the road to recovery, you get past 14 as well. I could think of worse than this stock based on the current analysis of this chart, even though it looks like all hope is lost and the thing is hard. Even though. Go over to Snap. Oh, isn't that crazy? I didn't even realize Snap had come back down to where it was. So I remember the earnings because everyone went crazy on it. So it went up to 42, dumped back off, got all the way back down to 27. Yeah. Look, I'm not big on social medias. I got to say, social media companies terrify me hard. I just don't think they've got great moats. Anyone else feel like that? Do you like social media companies? I was watching a thing today on delivery companies, just out of interest. I was just watching this guy. I think his name is on YouTube, The Company Man. Yeah, it's a pretty cool YouTube videos. I enjoy it. I watched one on Chick-fil-A and I watched one on, I don't even know what I was doing. I was like vegetating. I was watching one on Dash and Grubhub and all these other things. And I was just looking at them and I was thinking, this guy's not really talking about stock price, but what he is talking about is these companies all losing money. And it's just so funny how they evolved. And Grubhub kind of was a profitable concept initially. It turned into a negative concept. I hate those businesses. I know it's winner takes all. They just don't interest me. And this doesn't interest me either at all. I have zero interest in Snap. I don't understand it, and therefore I don't want it. And I don't like social media because I feel like other than Google, which is more than social media, they tend not to have a great track record. Paul says, Musk is going to start a new social media to challenge Twitter. Yeah, I heard that. Xavier C says, over the past 10 years, gold is not beating inflation. BTC is up over 100K. People don't understand that with gold and BTC, I don't know why people always fight about this. Gold is crap to own a lot of the time. Even gold bugs will admit to you. And they'll look, hey, when you own it at the right time, it's great to own. When you own it at the wrong time, gold bugs will admit there's gold bugs in the room. Gold bugs, come out. Silver bugs, I want to hear from you. Tell you a story. My dad's watching. Sorry about this, Dad. My dad fell into the trap. The 1970s. The king of stagflation. The crazy run on silver. What do you think he did? I'm going to buy me some gold, some silver bars, baby. These silver bars are going up. I know they're going up, up and away. It's going to be the best. He may not have said that, but I'm dramatizing it. So he did. I would doubt those silver bars are even up on what he paid for them back then. So, if you buy it at the wrong time, ain't nothing going to save you, unfortunately. Ain't nothing going to save you. Now, does that mean it's a terrible purchase? Well, that was at a bad time, unfortunately. Lucky he didn't put too much in it, hey? But with gold, what we're looking at is it's the same thing. If you buy it at the right time, glorious. If you buy it at the wrong time, it does nothing and it sits there and it pisses you off for about a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But when you know and understand what gold is, which is a currency, I repeat, a currency, then you will have much better understanding of it. In many ways, Bitcoin is very similar. All the same arguments that were made with gold are in Bitcoin. The only difference is Bitcoin is seen an appreciation percentage that's incredible at this stage. Jason Bale says, silver has like the biggest ascending triangle ever, man. Yeah, cool. We'll check that out soon. The gold bugs have come out. Can you check out Tilray and Sun? Yeah, we'll check out Tilray and Sun. I remember, I wouldn't mind having a stack of gold bars behind me right now. But the problem is if I buy gold physical and I put it in my house, and I'm on YouTube, someone probably come and rob me. and that wouldn't be very good. Or I've got to go put it in a safety deposit box and pay way too much money. So here's the Tilray. I don't think there's a technical you can really run on Tilray other than if you're feeling the pullback. Because the problem with Tilray is it's in a squeeze. Earnings in 15 days. Current support is sitting around 735. Current market, $8. So that's in a squeeze. Not going to be easy for you to really conceptualize that. You might have to read the level 2 data. That may be the only way to trade something like this. And especially if you're looking at it a little bit more, level 2 data, and that could be the way to go. Gold and silver people are fighting with the other people in the room. All right. Someone said here that silver has a massive ascending. And you can't say I hate gold because I was slamming gold and going wild about it all since December. People gave me shit for talking about gold. But I felt that was a good time to have a crack at it, and turned out it was. So, good work. That's how it was. Gold was good for its little specific time, and now I'm just chilling, and we're gonna watch it, and then we're gonna pay some attention to it when it gets good. Look, silver's just, I don't know if I call this a massive ascending or massive anything. It's just floating. It's been floating for a while, and it's holding above this previous resistance area, which I guess is good. Like that area there, bit of potential demand could come in here. We've got that super strong resistance sitting around the 28.30. I don't think I have a direction on it. I would say more bullish than bearish, but I don't feel strongly, because how can you feel strongly when the market's not telling me anything? It's just doing its thing, sitting in the middle. BTC is not an inflation hedge. No, it is certainly not an inflation hedge. BTC is a risk-on asset. That's how you have to think about it. If it's risk-on, BTC, good work. If it's risk-off, I think it's more like that. A risk-on, risk-off asset. Do you agree with me, chat? Risk-on, risk-off? Or is it some kind of hedge of something that's, I don't even know. Let's look at some crazy stocks now. Apple. Wow. That's interesting. Apple is disconnected from the reality of realities right now. It's just doing its thing. That's why I couldn't get that trend line going. Need to go back to regular. So Apple's just, I mean, this is unbelievable. Let me just count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me just count that again. 9 up days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. No, that's not 9. I can tell that. What over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Where are there more than 9 up days? Someone super sleuths. I want you to find me more than 9 up days. That seems statistically unlikely. It's ridiculous. Is that ridiculous? I feel like that's ridiculous. Is that ridiculous, chat? 9 up days? It deserves to be down today. Laurie says, Meh, all I know is gold options did me very well last month. Yeah, hell yeah, they did. That was a great time. Pedro says, I like Apple. Well, Apple, I didn't know it was down in pre-market, but that's unfortunate because that was something I was looking at last week. That's why I said it on the weekend video, because so many greens. Regardless, it has to come down. The stupid market can't be up 9 days in a row on a big stock like this. That's ridiculous. So where are some supports? 168. Will this actually be the catalyst for the rest of the market? Ooh. Apple has strong resistance at 178. I think about 176 it has fairly strong, and then of course 180 plus. But yeah, look, I wouldn't mind it to actually come back down here about 168. US 2-year still 2.3, still up 1.23% versus the 10-year, which is now down 1%. We move closer to inversion every day. Now, remember, when inversion does probably occur, that doesn't mean the stock market just falls off a cliff the next day. It's like a canary, remember? Canary in the coal mine. Xavier says, you guys are saying BTC isn't outperforming the NAS, therefore isn't an inflation hedge. I'm not arguing that at all. I'm just saying it's a risk on, risk off asset, Xavier. That's how you have to look at Bitcoin. Risk on, risk off. If it's risk on, BTC will do its own thing. Whether it outperforms or underperforms, I would say it outperforms. It's an ultimate risky asset. It goes hard. When it goes hard in both directions. It goes hard up, goes hard down. If you were to take BTC versus the NAS, it will slam the NAS most of the time. Absolutely. It'll slam it with a big, it'll completely destroy it. Let's look at Tesla. Why? Because it's a risk on asset. If they're all going risk on, which one's going to go best? Crypto for the last decade. I'm kind of laughing at some of these as arguments. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean that's the way I see it. Conceptually, I think that it doesn't really matter which one beats, but I would always go with Bitcoin will beat NASDAQ as a raw percentage during risk on. That would be the argument I would make. 1,100 would be probably around the next resistance for the old Tesla. Now, why? Well, I guess could you make an argument in here? Once it touched it, let's go to a line chart that will clean it for me. Let's now go to weekly line chart for a second here. Daily. Oh, it's a little bit of noise in there. I'm just thinking if this 1,060 where it is right now is legit. Let me put a line there for a second. So line chart is good because it shows you the close price, cleans it up a little. Close is important. 1,065, 1,065. I guess where it is right now is technically a little miniature resistance. 1, 2, 3. That's a fairly decent touches. Let's now move it back over to the candle chart here. And it came off there on the way down. Yeah, I figure it is opening at resistance. But the next stop would be around just above 1,100. It's like an 11.10 to an 11 kind of 15. So maybe a little bit of resistance where it opens. Next stop, I think, is most likely that if it goes through. And then if it goes through there, well, I think you're talking 1,200. Eternal Flame says, Tom, it could be you getting your Tesla today and giving us the blessing on the stock split. Yeah, the guy at the delivery center certainly wasn't telling me about the stock split. Not that he would have known. How many green days of Tesla have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I always bet that today was going to be a negative day for the old Tesla in terms of open close. But because of the stock split, no, we can't be doing that. We can't be going negative. Absolutely no way. We're sitting at 1,065, potentially 1,100. I mean, Tesla buyers must be so happy with themselves whenever they buy these dips. I'm not going to say that I'm the greatest Tesla trader of all time Tesla investor of all time, because I just don't have the diamond hands like you guys do. I might own a Tesla now. By the way, I played that the song that you get to play. Has anyone ever done that? Anyone own a Tesla here? And you press the little thing and then it plays a song for you. Dances. The Tesla dances, guys. Willow Puff, $5. Tom, you give such useful info. Thank you. No worries, Willow Puff. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Tesla and Apple on fire. I thought Apple was down. Yeah, Apple's down. Apple doesn't deserve to be up today. 9 days in a row too many. Tesla probably was getting on that. Statistically unlikely it actually was to probably go another day. However, it's doing it. And why I say this is because it doesn't matter which market you look at. Look at the history. How many 9 to 10 days in a row can you find in any of these stocks? Even if you go back through all history between not having a red day. It's crazy. Like, it really doesn't happen. It's almost like magical. No wonder people have been getting destroyed shorting. It's just so many green days. Yeah, look, whatever happens today, I think it will go up. It will feel the hype. I would be very hard pressed to go against Tesla, but that's a lot of green days in a row. I'd be careful as well. Mitchell Miller, $20. Thank you very much, Mitchell. Always appreciate your support. Hey, Tom, have you looked at IWM yet? We have not looked at IWM yet, but we will do it for you, Mitchell, right now. So Tesla, very, very, very bullish into the stock split. I feel that any kind of sell-offs now, let's just bring up the stock split stacks just here again. Where are we? Hello, stock split. There we go. I wouldn't mind feedback as well from the chat right now. I want to know, what would you like to see in the daily videos more? The ones that I do recap. Are they perfect as they sit? What do you want to see? Give me some feedback, guys. I need feedback to improve them. Constantly, we got to evolve the situation. Stock split 7.8% versus the S&P 500 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. No wonder people get excited. And Tesla stock split has had a history of pretty big strength. So it's I think it will fall back at some point, and it might go even back to the 945. But I feel like even if the market starts dipping now, Tesla will hold comparatively well because of this stock split news. Let's now do the IWM. What's my opinion of the DAX? Great question. We'll maybe check that out. IWM here, it's kind of floating, Mitchell. I mean, I don't really have too much strength or weakness here. Still another day of just floating in the zone. Overall, looks like it wants to actually break up, if you can believe it. That's actually what it wants to do, I feel, on this chart. Let's go down into the 2 hour here. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't look very negative. I mean, even if it does go down, we think there's probably buyers in this level from a technical Zan. That looks like a bit of a demand area. And then if we breach the 209, obviously I've said that's pretty strong. And at the moment, it's neutral in the big area around here. The other one that I'm using is the DAX. You'll notice the DAX has been heavily favored by me recently. The reason I'm using the DAX is because I think if a market's going to fail, I think we're going to smell out the problems in the market over the next year, actually in Europe, before it happens in the US. So it might look like the US has got problems, but I'm pretty sure those problems are compounded into the DAX. So they're compounded into the European markets. Where the problem is in the US, Europe is worse. All right, here's some feedback. Let's have a look here. Not to get too political. I don't remember I do get political. I have zero opinion on politics. Very good. FX Evolution, is the FTSE still relevant for Europe now we've done Brexit? It's not really relevant anyway for you to look at too much because it's only 3 markets: financials, mining, and oil. It's kind of like Australia, except Australia has a little bit better mining. So, Rob, unfortunately, the FTSE is not a great index unless you're looking for those things. Fair enough. I appreciate that, Sarah. That's good feedback there. Fernando says IWM is 25% financial stocks. That's right. But what are financial stocks? Little healthy little health kind of snippets of the market itself. DAX looks like Wyckoff. You mean here on this particular pattern? That could be Wyckoff, yes. Could be distribution Wyckoff. Could be. Doesn't mean it is. And when will you know? Unfortunately, you won't know till probably around that point there, if it does something like last time. It Wyckoff massively over on the weekly. But yeah, you could be right. This could be setting up as a Wyckoff. And guess what? If it does go before the US market, I'll be paying attention. Don't worry about that. Amish says, I'm long RTY, pretty disappointing so far. Oh, you're long the short little IWMs. Fair enough. Okay. Franklin says, Tom, I would highlight something with TA every video. You go through them normally, maybe key in something every day and thumbnail that thing. Love the videos, just suggesting. Okay, cool. Euro will explode, says Snoozer Snoozer. Does that mean explode down or up? Mr. Funky Dude says, why ASX Tech not moving in? We have ASX Tech? Really? I poke fun. Look, the ASX Tech is a bit different to the Nasdaq itself. So yeah, it tends to not work that well. Unfortunately, I haven't seen that much correlation with it. I can't tell you exactly, but yeah. Don't really trade too much ASX Tech. All right, let's look at these broad markets coming in. Let's see if there's anything interesting on the plus or the negative side. I mean, we all know about Tesla by now. Stock split, yes, it's coming. It looks like they'll vote on it and have a party later on. It's going to be a little bit long in terms of how long it's going to take to go. Coinbase here, 3.5% thanks to the Bitcoin move. Let's have a look at the negatives here in the pre-market. So we have, do we have anything interesting? We've got ResMed, we've got Apple down a lot. Apple down a lot considering too many green days goes into a red day. Snowflake down a little bit. Nothing hugely down. We actually have a flat market coming in on the Monday, which is a bit boring. We've done the indices. We've already covered off on those. We've covered US oil. Have a quick look at gold here. Gold kind of floating around. Came all the way back down. Actually, would have hoped it would hold that zone about 1946. Seem to want to bugger off and go a little bit lower, which sucks for many people, I'm sure. So gold's still consolidating here. Tom jinxed Apple. Oh no, I think Apple deserves to pull back here. It certainly does. So I'm pretty bullish still on the crypto. I think that's pretty good for the next couple of days from TA perspective, obviously. US 2-year versus higher than the 10-year is not good. That goes more towards the other thing. Let's have a look at the DXY here. DXY actually interesting. I noticed that was going towards break, and I've really liked the Friday close on this. Significant move here on the DXY. Often DXY is seen as a risk on, risk off asset. Obviously, at the moment, been going strong for a little bit here. Made a big call on the DXY last year, which was based on weekly double bottom. Let's have a look. And I didn't think it was going to happen quickly, but this is the weekly double bottom. We went bullish on this pair. I'm still very bullish on the DXY. In fact, I'm most bullish on this currency over pretty much all others at this stage. Swiss franc also pretty bullish on, but they get involved. Odd, pretty bullish on odd usually as well. But yeah, this is a pretty good little setup here for a breaker. Looks strong, the DXY. US dollar still looks very strong. You guys think it's strong? I think it's strong. Not too bad. ARK just bought a lot of NEO. I mean, the thing is, do we even trust what ARK buys anymore? We'll look at NEO. I would love to believe in everything Kathy Wood says, and it's all great innovation, this and that. But then there's some of stocks that I can't get behind them, guys. The Roku, I cannot get behind Roku. Someone tell me why Roku is good and it has competitive advantage over Google and YouTube, whatever it is, the streaming YouTube TV. Somebody here that understands Roku, tell me, is it actually going to beat YouTube and beat the competitors that are getting into the space? Give me your opinions, not my opinions. And that stupid Zoom, I mean, Microsoft just flogs it with a big stick. Stupid Zoom. Someone says time to sell Neo. Now she bought it. Yeah. I know it rallied a lot, but do I think this is good? It's okay. It's got good volume on it, but that's because everyone hyped it up. Rally off the bottom. If risk on still goes, I think maybe it keeps going. But yeah. Someone here says no, Roku cannot win. Richard C says Roku, nah, lol. Don't even know what that is. Yeah, we don't Roku. The Roku is no good. Evil Roku. Let's check out Zoom. If Roku becomes a huge stock again and goes well, I'm going to have to eat some big humble pie. But at the moment, I can continue hating on it like I hate on this company. Zoom. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't see anything good on that chart. Nasty, evil Zoom. All right, we'll leave that one. No good. No good. Larry says Google and Amazon has been trying to dethrone Roku forever, yet Roku's still dominating. There's a difference between being built into smart TVs and what people actually use. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the Google Smart TV Android's good. I think it's trash. I have personally a NVIDIA Shield. I quite like that. It's quite good. NVIDIA Shield, very good. I'm talking about that YouTube TV, like the purchase, the YouTube TV, the additional. Doesn't seem too bad. I mean, I haven't used it, but it doesn't seem too bad. Mitchell Miller says, hey, Tom, Apple 9 Green Day match may be heading to 10 for 10. No, I don't think so. I think that it's going to go red today. Apple is red. See, down 1.56%. 9-day green, too much for it. I wish there was more interesting stocks here today. I feel like the Tesla news, unfortunately, it's already bounced the financials in terms of the movement there. Let's go through some other stocks. Let's see what else things we've got. Etsy, not so good. Net, one of my favorites, always solid kind of position. Not too bad on the TA either. It's right at that resistance right now, looking for the breakout. You know where my interest's actually been? It's not even been in the tech. My interest's been in these stocks. Nucor, one I listed up last week. If anyone was paying any attention, I was crapping on about Nucor. Steel has been quite good. Steel is good. Steel had the tweezer. I like the tweezer. And steel has led to some pretty nice increases. I mean, we're seeing here about 10.5%. I say yes to that. Thank you very much. Got the crappy John Deere. Look at it go. Bought that one up last week as well. Not too bad. Got the Triple M. I like that as a base, but I don't like the volume the last 2 days. Not too good. It's certainly a fairly decent hold pattern here on the Triple M. Does anyone talk about this stock? I doubt it. Am I? Sure. Why not? It's on the base. AAP, another one we featured last week. AVTR never gave us the buy, unfortunately. See the breakout here, never got it. Still keep it there for a little bit. And what was the other one? Roro. What's Roro? What the hell is this? ATAC rotation. I never had that on. So yeah, they're still going well here. The old steel, not too bad. Pins is another one, even though it's a social media. Pinterest, very low, very low. Decent base, volume not there, that's for sure. Nice base, nice resistance, sitting around that 27 resistance, 50 exponential sitting there as well. Just some things to watch over the next week. ARK hovering around that buy area. Obviously doing better today because of Tesla more than anything else. DKNG, meh. TAN, solar index, looking for a break of 78. If it doesn't get it, well, that's annoying. PLTR looks a lot better on the charts than it has in a very long time. Looks a lot better than it has in a very long time on the charts. SPLK, I've liked that for a bit. Just going through some of my faves here. TDOC, God, TDOC, just hideous as usual. ZS, probably nothing good there. Crowd broke out. Net looks very similar to the way the crowd was. So crowd broke out thanks to earnings. It's on a bit of a decent rocket ship. Obviously, pullbacks back into the 200 zone could be interesting for stock buyers there. Twilio still looks pretty gross. CRM doesn't look too fantastic either. The bio all looks pretty horrible. Let's have a look at this downward trend here for the bio. Oh, I guess it's improved. Huge. What the? Is that real? 18th. Oh. Okay. Wow, that was a lot of options. Yeah, I think CRISPR and Beam and stuff are all just floating around. These do really bad in high interest rate environments. Microsoft looks similar to the rest. Enphase, obviously that's on a bit of a run. So as you go through these, some of my favorites have been things like Google, been things like Amazon, Tesla, just the FANG stocks, the big, well, not FANG, but, the MANG or whatever you want to call it. I think Square actually presents pretty well here as well. Square presents one of the best. Wyckoff, 2 moving averages. Geez, it presents much better than the rest does. We need the options graph overview for Tesla. Yeah, we can have a look. Sure, we'll bring that up. Let's check it out. What date are we on first? All right, bring this through. Here we go. Here's all the crazy options that you guys have been placing for next week. So we've got a bit of puts, but they're left over, I'd say, from a few weeks ago. These are where the calls are at. So we've got a large amount of strikes already coming in around, it looks like that 1100. Then we've got the 1065. I mean, there's a lot of calls. And you would think that this gets squeezed. The thing is that I can't see retail traders not having to go at options today for this news. And if they do, then what do you open yourself up to? Some kind of gamma squeeze or something like that. Just huge amounts of call options. It's risky. I mean, that's what the Tesla trade is right now. But yeah, there's a lot of positions already open, and they're going to continue to open up big ones. All right, calm down, Xavier. It's all good, sir. I'll agree with you on one thing. That remember, BTC is a risk-on asset. I think you agree with that. There we go. We've made a great argument, and we've come through with the goods. Oops. Tesla should replace Facebook and then they call it Tang. It should be Tesla, Apple, Amazon. I'm going to ask the community this. What should the best, if you were to pick the top 5 stocks in the market, go right now. Come on, chat. Bring it in. Give me the new big one. I want new Fang, but not Fang. And Facebook's not in it. Well, they can be if you want it. What's the new Fang? Give me the new Fang. Check out the dope stocks, Tom. Yeah, I mean, I looked at them. What do you want me to say? Like the hideous sundial's back. Actually held up really well, sundial. Oh, earnings in one day. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Stay away from that one. Oh my god, earnings. Yeah, look, we've already done this stock, and I mean, basically, the general gist is it pulls back. Hopefully, it hits something like where it did hit, really already, and that would be the bounce area. So we've got some people coming in here, and people say Microsoft, Apple, J.P. Morgan, O, and J&J. O, Reality Income. Yeah, what was the other one? J&J, Johnson and Johnson. Eh? Actually, not bad in terms of chart on this one. I saw this the other day. Not bad. Somebody won GS as well before Goldman Sachs. Let's have a look at Goldman. I don't see anything really strong here in Goldman. Gary saying, he says, Magnat for me. Microsoft, I give that approval. Apple, I certainly give that approval. Google, I give approval. Nvidia, yes. Amazon, and then Tesla. Oh, yeah. I like that one very much. Ocam's Razor says wheat. Spelt wrong, Ocam's. Nvidia is way too high. Yeah, it's pretty high valuation, which kind of sucks. The valuation is high. It makes it tough. I think that's a good list. That's a good one there. I like that one. Most of you have this one. The Magnat. That's what we need. We need some Magnat. Xavier's Magnat just includes Bitcoin at the front. Oh, wheat is the ticker. Oh, okay. We don't want to do that. No, none of that wheat action. Hi, Tim. David. Hi, Tim. Can you do Rio? Well, if it was a Tim here, I would do Rio for you. I'll do it for you, man. Tim. Okay, American? No worries, man. Let's check that out. 79, 52, 78, 66. So my personal preference would be never to TA the American market for this. You can trade it in America, but I would TA the Australian because that's where it predominantly trades. Why? Because I think it will present a little bit better where it predominantly trades. That goes for any stock really. Wherever the big volume goes through it, that's the one you should really be looking at. Look, Rio had a big div. So it's weakened off that div. And this is traditional for this time of year. It's why it usually has a really great November, December, Jan, Feb. And then it usually divs, sits around for 45 days, and then goes off. The div was exceptional, just like most of these iron ores have been. Look, Rio is a good company. I like it very much. I love that level, especially that 107 is always glorious to buy once it breaks through. So that was a great buy recently. And right now, I would say it's in very questionable. You can't really make too much of a decision choice. It looks like it's rallied. I'd be looking for some kind of pullback, idea like a 115, and then we hopefully we move into the bullish direction. Tom, can you check out Sundial, please? Look, we had a look at Sundial before. I didn't really see anything in particular other than the hideous earnings coming up. The problem with Sundial is just like the other one. Did it hit somewhere around to take profit? Yeah. When these have historically gone, they haven't gone for many days. I mean, this one went 1, 2, 3, kind of 4 days over here, maybe about 6, 7 days. They haven't held the squeeze for very long. And I think that's a big problem with them. This is just know what this is. It's a gamble. If you go into it thinking you're going to lose all your money, it's okay. It's just like when you go to a casino. If you go to a casino and you put $200 in your pocket and you walk into the casino with the idea of playing all the hideous games that you play, you're probably going to lose your $200. Now, does anyone know if I walked into a casino, what game do you think I would play in a casino? Knowing me. As if you know me, then you'd probably have an idea. Tom, do you see Adobe going below 420, 400? Good question. Adobe, yes. I've been watching it. It is a stock I've been watching because I do love me some subscription models. I do like subscription models. I've thought for a while though, Canva has been kind of eating a little bit of their, let's say, low end fruit, because I canceled my Adobe sub and used Canva and a few other things. So that's less money for them. Earnings is now done, which is good. I didn't really have a bullish play on earnings too much. At this stage, I would say this is a heavy buying pressure support. Hopefully it can hold it. I'm not convinced either way. I guess I'd be more thinking towards the long. Like I would be looking at that earnings report and saying, okay, how bad was it really? And once you can make that decision, if you think it's fundamentally sound, this is a base. And of course, if it breaks through the top here, I'd be feeling a lot better towards it. People are guessing here what I play. Blackjack or poker, baccarat. No way. Not unless, I don't know what's going on with baccarat. Blackjack, white jack says in Japan. Blackjack or poker. Yeah, you guys would be correct. That is pretty much all I do. You are a roulette guy. No way. I hate roulette, man. You know why I hate roulette? The 00. As soon as I see, even with blackjack, if I go in there and it's got some weird rule where they don't bust on 22, do they do that in the US? Do they have stupid blackjack plus where if you get 21, you always get paid immediately at a higher rate, but they don't bust on 22? What a dumb, what is that? Is that even blackjack anymore? It's like a legal jack. Dimitri Freeman has been pretty consistent today. Thank you also the 600, almost 700 people that we've got here. Appreciate you guys. FX Evolution, hey bro, what can you say about NIA? Let's have a look at NIA. What is this? The BlackRock Short Maturity Bond ETF. Looks pretty disgusting, doesn't it? What can I say about NIA? Not much. What is with the history of this thing? I don't think I say anything about this. It has zero ability for me to make a great decision of it based on what I'm seeing on this chart. I mean, bonds, sure, it's following bonds, short maturity bonds. See how much that freaked out during the 2020 crash. Fair enough. It's lower, but yeah, it doesn't really give me enough advantage. So NIA has the inverted shark fin formation. NIA equals scary. Again, I don't know how you would use it to really solidify a proper investment thesis. I mean, I do use bonds, but I'm not sure if this is the one I would use. Let's go through these indices again. So I guess my rando call of down before was correct. It is down a little bit more than it was. So if you're looking at these markets today from a technical perspective, let's just quickly throw some stuff on the charts. We'll throw on a trend line. Obviously, the trend line is fairly solid going through these series of what you would call higher kind of peaks and higher troughs. If it breaches underneath something like this 45.20, I think that's a little bit negative for the markets today. We've already shown a few stocks here. We've shown that Tesla, that Apple have been on incredible stellar runs. Too many days up without having a bad day. What was it? 9 days of Apple bullishness. Tesla's going to go for 10, it looks like. It's too much. So Apple is declining here in the pre-market after being on a big ramp due to its little squeezy squeeze. And I think that this is possibly the day that you get some redness on the market. Now, I'm not really a big one for shorting in this market condition because I'm actually feeling long at this stage for a little bit here. As I've said every day in the video, that's the way I feel. And that's because I've got certain things telling me that type of stuff. But yeah, I would go with, at this stage in these markets, it really does look like today would make sense for them to probably pull it back a little bit. Why? Well, we're pretty close to the 4,600. If they want this to last for a bit longer, you can't just go off into the moon. So what if they did something like this? That would eat up a lot of time. You need a little bit of good pullback before you can get some good action as well. So yeah, 4,600, big resistance, 61.8 fib sitting where it is right now. So if you take a fib of the whole pull, so if we go get rid of whatever that is, let's now put a fib on this. Fib that retrace, 61.8 fib right on the close. Obviously, 4,600 being kind of the better case scenario for the bulls before a potential pullback. If it breaches underneath that little miniature trend line, that could be a good first signal that things are going down. Little trend line here. Imagine a scenario like this. Doop, doop, doop. Not the best, especially when it gets through 45.20. All of a sudden, you're looking at some weakness. So let me ask the chat. What do you guys think today? Are you bullish or bearish today? Tell me I want the chat to tell me what's going on. Yeah, the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. That was pretty funny. Here comes some calls from everybody. People are, here we go. Down, bull, flat, says full in Japan. Soto says, I don't know. Fair enough. Gary Cheng says bull, neutral. I think bullish this morning with a weak close. Fair enough. Bull trap. Need to breathe from the last couple of weeks. I'm practicing patience. Fair enough. Bearish from Friday's options. Yes, makes sense, Fernando. I like that very much. Dollar is running up and so are bonds. There you go. Down, says Matthew. Yep, that's right. Risk off asset. Sometimes the old USD. Bearish, Apple will destroy the momentum. Good one, Scott. I like that. Bull, bear. Bull, too much fear. Interesting. And here's a great answer. Sin 730, no bias. I'm just going to go with the flow. Be reactionary. I like that very much, Sin. Well done. That's right. Being reactionary is key. So here we lead into the market and we're basically seeing a trend line. We've got the market going up and down and all around. We don't necessarily know its direction. We know overall it's probably more bullish than bearish at this stage. We've said that now for a little while. If it does pull back, there are plenty of places where buyers may come back in, but we have a 61.8 fib. We have Apple getting kind of hit here in the morning with the good news of Tesla, which is basically keeping it afloat right now, the NASDAQ. But we have the 2-year rising 2% versus negative 0.77 on the US 10-year, closer to inversion. The DXY showing a lot of strength. That is a risk-off style asset. Yeah. I think the best rule of thumb is always to go with the flow and be reactionary to when you see high probability movements. Check the VIX. The VIX is up 5.58. Another bit of fear coming into the markets here, even though the markets are holding steady. So if I was guessing based on not seeing a proper signal at this stage, you'd probably go with the bear side for today. And that's the first time I've said that. Trade what you see, says ARKK. Yeah. And Hoz says crypto is extremely bullish right now. Yeah, but crypto can go bullish even though it's a risk on asset. while the rest does its thing. Yeah, I agree. Crypto looks the best. Crypto is good. We looked at the BTC before. When BTC 100K. Ooh. Oh, I don't know. That's too much for me, sir. 100K predictions on BTC. If you get 100K BTC this year, which I doubt, by the way, what would I do? I don't know. But I will do something special because I don't think that's going to happen. And I know that sounds like a Debbie Downer. I'm feeling people are upset. They're like, no, Tom, it's going to 100K. I don't know about that. 5/30 year inverted. That's right. Oh, before or after 2030? Before 2030, sir. Xavier. 100K before 2030. Okay, I can get behind that idea. But this year, I'm not sure. BTC needs to test 44K support before reaching 58K level. Yeah, it doesn't have to, but certainly it would be okay to do so. Let's go through the trend here. So again, we've got trend lines through all of these markets at the moment. Trend lines through the US 500, trend lines through the US 100. Being reactionary to the trades here. 45.20, I feel like, is a pretty big level here for the old S&P today. It needs to hold the current trend up. If it is, otherwise, maybe the reactionary move is negative. There are enough signals to say negativity could be coming. The crazy 9-day run of Apple. The crazy 9-day run of Tesla, probably going to be 10 now. Still up 5.11% in the pre-market, 1,065 or 62. Let's have a look at the pre here. Pretty close, 12 minutes off the open. Pre-market, we have Tesla, Coin, 193, Kia Corp, 373, BioNTech, Toyota Motor, Humana, Thermo Fisher, Moderna. Now, Moderna is an interesting one. I want to load Moderna up. mRNA. You know, Moderna was the other stock that obviously got squeezed back in the 2021s. It's since then had a massive fall from grace. Remember when this stock was worth $400 or $500, whatever it was? $490 something, $500. Now it's sitting down here worth 66 billion again. Is this the base of interest? Weekly, long leg doji breakout, close, pullback. Interesting. I think it's a pretty key zone. BTC goes to 100K. Tom eats 20 crazy wings. Not 20, Troy, even though I know your real name. 20 is too many. Anyone else eating a crazy wing from Australia? I can eat 6. 6 crazy wings, not 20. For anyone that doesn't know, 20 are basically crazy wings are like these chicken wings with way too much spice on them. They're not particularly tasty. Very hard to eat that many of them. I'm all in. I want to go on that show. What's that show? The guy with the hot wing show where he eats the spicy wings or interviews people and they eat hot things. I could do that. Gary Sony says, Tom, with the amount of puts in the market, it's hard to be bearish. Sure, we can pull back and grab liquidity, but it will end the green. That's correct. That's why we need another month or a few extra weeks to go through here. Ozmaster says, Tom, are you a long-term BTC holder? I do hold BTC. And yes, I will hold a portion now. I would cryogenically freeze a portion now, yes. I should have been a longer holder. I had a pretty nice sum back in the day. Had 150 of them, but I sold them way early, hey? Mistakes made, learn from that. Tom, you're going to the toilet with the 20 crazy wings. Yeah, that would be too many for me. Moderna was a COVID play for me. Yeah, of course. But we're talking about just things that are getting picked up. How many dimmies can you eat? I don't know. I've never even tried. I used to be able to eat about 18 wheat bix. That was way too many. How early did I get in? Oh, Xavier, 2011. So, yeah, 2011. Tom, were you tracking UST 2-year versus 10-year back in 2019? If so, do you remember your initial thoughts / feelings? Yeah, I was. So the way I thought about US 2-year, 10-year was take all my leverage off. That's what I did. I took all my leverage off. And I was hyper aware of potential pullbacks. It also goes into my cyclical thinking. So it just so happened that it was all there. But I just pulled leverage. Yeah. But I also know that it's an early signal and tends not to lead straight away. So you don't have to pull leverage off immediately. But I certainly did. Xavier says, what price was BTC when you first bought? I didn't buy. I made it with my computer. Back then, you could make a coin a day. Can you imagine that? Make a Bitcoin a day. A day. Easy. Sometimes two. No worries, Gordon. All good. So we're only about 7 minutes off the open here. And I know I'm not talking too much about the market. We've covered it a lot. Big stories for today, for anyone that's joining us, is really Tesla in the split. So Tesla obviously has split it up. And that's 5.14 in terms of calling them out. We've done all our precursor action. And I don't really think there's a strong bias either way here in the session. I think being reactionary will be the key. And that's because we've got nice trend lines on the US 500 and US 100, especially the US 500. Currently, it's above the trend line. So you have to be bullish. We do have some weird signals. We've got VIX going up. We've got DXY going up. And then we have also a interesting kind of pick off where oil's going down pretty heavily. Even what's the other thing that's going down? Even DE is going down a little bit, the DAX. So look, I don't think it's a horror show, but certainly not strong as it was. It's floating. We'll have to go here. What you were early. Yeah. So the story goes, the reason I got into Bitcoin was because I was playing Diablo 3. Yeah, you heard me right. I was playing Diablo 3. And I met somebody that I was playing Diablo 3 with my mates. And we played the Diablo 3 and we made we made a small amount of money, let's just say that, a few $10,000s of dollars, selling the items in the stupid shop. Anyway, he goes, what are you doing? So I ended up buying a whole bunch of computers and I was selling like these items. So then I've always done these weird things for sure. So we were making these things called hawks, whatever they were called back then. Anyway, he got into Bitcoin mining and I had these computers. So I Bitcoin mined and then I sold them for cheap deal. It's all good, Ozmaster. I played. Yeah. So was I ridiculous? Yeah, I sold the BTC cheap, guys, real cheap. Because the way I looked at it back then is I could make them for a few dollars and then sell them for like $12 or $15. I probably shouldn't have, but the other one, oh man, I caught up with him last year. Oh man, he is retired. He is done. He had about 2,600 coins or something. Obviously, he sold them through the years, but he still has a couple of hundred. Tom, can you share that web link to the market calendar you use? I had one point, but can't find it again. Oh, that's just Forex Factory, man. Forex Factory. Tom, do you remember the first Diablo and what year it was released? Yeah, 96. And I played it in 97. Yeah. I was there for the launch of D2, my favorite game ever. Anyway, you guys don't care. 4 minutes to go here till the market opens. Let's just go through some of the things that are happening. There are some reds. We have reds here. A hideous game company, Electronic Arts, down 1.12%. Lockheed, 449. Interesting. That could be something to bring up later. CrowdStrike is down. Apple is down 1.44. Pre-market up. We've got Tesla only holding a 5% now. Was up a bit more in the pre. We've got Coin up 194. Not too bad. BioNTech 179. Looks like there's a few biotechs in the bullishness side for today. And one that we looked at a little bit earlier, well, Block Square. Nice Wyckoff accumulation on that from a TA perspective. So it might be worthwhile checking that out in the markets through this session. Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably much the best two trades of the session or of the day. You would think that they're just the standouts for the breakout here. Obviously, if you're in Tesla already, you're feeling pretty good. Another one we looked at was PayPal before. We've checked out the market here coming in. Obviously, US 500, we have a trend line. We have the 4520 being a big key resistance. That's a key support. And if we get something like this, it could be a relatively negative kind of session. My guess compared to anything else is probably a bearish session just because we've had so many bull ones. And it's not that I'm bearish on the market at this stage. I'm actually relatively bullish, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it could go bearish. I would think reactionary is best. And the only reason is the Apple 9 days in green due for a pullback, you would think. Market now starting going slightly red here. US 500 down 0.18. 2 minutes till the open. Yeah, some good websites to check out. Forex Factory, Koifin. I even like StockTwits, finding out when people are going crazy. Investing.com can be okay as well. Tom, I do care about D2 still playing to this day. Yep, so am I. Probably should have like a little D2 community from this community. A lot of you people play. How does Snow and Net look to you? Net's at resistance, and Snow I haven't checked out enough on the charts. Let's check out Snow quickly here. What is this? Snowflakes. Snowflake. Yeah, I don't really see what I like too much in this chart. It's bought, but yeah, I don't really see anything that's super strong. Wow, Snowflake got down to 166 again. Huh. It's a good price round here for Snow if you believe in it. It's not a shocking price. But TA wise, I'm not seeing a strong direction. So ding, ding, ding. Here we go. We're about to do it. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate all of you for subscribing, liking the channel, everything like that. 12:29:46 with 13 seconds off the open for me. Yeah, that's 12:30 a.m. in here in Australia. Not easy being an American trader from Australia. Should live over there, shouldn't I? Fernando says, Tom, thoughts on MicroStrategy? I think it's better than Coinbase. Okay, interesting. I don't know too much about it. So here we go. Ding, ding, ding. We are open. Let's go check out the market. So we've got here 0.13 down for the US 500, 0.04 for the US 100. Nothing too crazy, at least initially. Tesla opens just under 5. US 2-year versus 10-year. Remember, that's not good. 2.319, 1.85. US 10-year sitting at 0.61. It scrolls through. Apple does open down 1.4-ish, now down 1.2. Square from the pre-market jumps out of the gates a lot better than we thought. There's about 0.4 now, 1.4. If you check out Square on the charts, not too bad. Net struggling with the resistance. NVIDIA now down. What else we got here? ARK up thanks to Tesla. SE down 3%. Pretty brutal stock, that one. It floats around. Actually, it's better than it was. It was down 5. So a hyper stock's holding a little bit better here. Even my little steel stock's down today. Pins up. Okay. That's a bit better than it was. Some of these stocks are doing a little bit better. Hypers seem to be doing better, which is completely counterintuitive to the US 2-year. But, whatever. It's not really the US 2-year is just a thing that we use as the canary. Check out that. VIX now 22. Let's now scroll up. and go through some of these big percentage changes. So we've got Tesla leading, Coinbase second, Block. Woo! Go! Look at that, 3% now. Aha! Kind of looks like they're jumping into hypers. Just to tilt everybody. What's down on the negatives here? JP Morgan, Lockheed, ResMed, Nucor, Caterpillar. Is this a clear rotation into hypers for today because they belted them last week? Block now still 3%, 3.2. Rob C says, so glad I did my buying late February, early March. Well done there, Rob. Congrats. Haven't touched it since doing less is more. That is correct, Rob. When you make great decisions at certain areas, you can do quite well. SEO oil short is flying it open. Congrats. I suddenly feel like I'm at an auction. You are. It's called the market. It's actually a gambling auction. Look at the block. 3.5. Yes. Can we have a peep at PLTR? We can have a look. PLTR it's usually a dirty word for me, but I can understand the PLTRs at the moment because it's not the ugliest chart I've ever seen for it. Here we go, up 1.5%. Yeah, I don't hate PLTR. I usually hate PLTR. You know this. PLTR fam, you know I've hated for a long time. But I don't hate the current price action that I'm seeing. Okay? That's good. If I'm with you, that's at least better than it was when everyone else was against you. Now I'm kind of feeling it. Why? We're above the daily 20 moving average. We've obviously shown some nice big trade volume here. It's held strong for a while. And I feel like it has a community of people that really love this thing, which is always strong. That means there's more holders. Plus, ARK's out of it. So therefore, it can go up more. Apple rallying. Okay. Yes, look at this. It's like a disconnect. It's like get out of everything and go into tech. 0.31 up for the US 100 now. Yet the market is down the 0.17 here, the SP. So let's scroll through. What's doing well? Oh my goodness. Square is doing better than I thought it was going to. Yes. I mean, I can't complain, hey? All right, cool. Very good. Thank you very much, Square. Thank you. TDOC, PLTR now up 1.89. So yeah, this is a sneaky rotation by the street. Geez, they're sneaky. Pins up. Now, Pins is a good one as well. Like I mentioned this before. Pins is sitting so heavily beaten down. I feel like it's in the mega capitulation of hell. Now, it is one of those stocks that you've got to look at and say, well, what even is its competitive advantage? But I tell you what, people that like pins, they like pins. Anyone use pins here? I use pins now. Not very much, but I use it a little bit. Cheap Chip says, cheers, Tom. Thank you very much. Chris Smith says, yes, it's all rotation. With the end of Q1, now is the time for the big institutions to move in to position, I think. Interesting. Come on, Square. Yeah, that's pretty crazy move there for Square. 5%. Whoa. It just jumped like another 0.3 just then. 5%. That's a good morning. That's a good morning, guys. 5 minutes in. My God. It was 0.4 before when we were talking about it. 0.6. Now sitting at 5.13. Anyway, there you go. That's the type of thing that happens. PayPal up 2.5. Yes, I like PayPal too. Morning, Tom. eBay has a base with some max pain double bottom. Do you agree, Mark? All right, let's have a look at eBay. I haven't bought eBay in years. And I mean years. I've not traded this thing in a very long time, at least to my best remembrance. Why? I guess I just don't feel like it's a winner. That's a nice base formation breakout, though. So you've got your trend down, pretty strong, pretty good rally. Obviously tested the rally off with the div Earnings is far away, which is good. Yeah, I think it's good. It's not too bad. Not too bad. 60, obviously, first target most people would have. PayPal popping off 2. Yeah, very nice. 2.65, very good. PayPal has some catching to do. It's the most hated sector of the market, the old fintech, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, good. All right, well, it's an interesting day. See, I said it was going to be red. It technically is red, but not for tech. Not for tech. I thought the square was the best, but yeah, well, PayPal and I guess the ones we've been discussing have been all right. So that's good. Fantastic. We'll see what happens into the end of the day. Be careful out there, guys. It's pretty risky, as you know, in terms of the moves can be severe both ways, and very quickly it can all get taken away from you. I did want to make a bit of an announcement here. As many of you would be aware, I've decided to kind of change the way that we do the structuring here on the live streams. Now, this will not make any change to your daily videos. So the daily videos that we produce on the channel will still remain the same. Don't worry about that. But I've decided to do pre-market a little bit differently. So because of the time change in Australia, we're moving, that's a big move in Microsoft as well. We're moving towards a open every Monday. Okay. So we will be doing pre-market opens every single Monday, absolutely 100% free on the channel. All right. Now, because of the way that time slots work and just in general, I've decided to take the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams to being shorter and just going to move them into pre-market. And I'm going to keep them for the private community. Now, you might ask why? Because frankly, unfortunately, live streaming kills your channel on YouTube. Now, I could move it to another channel and then try to build it again and all of those things, but it's just not going to be the way I'm going to do it. So Monday, because I don't have a video in between, it's going to be fine. Monday pre-market, we'll do it all the time. If you're interested in anything in the private stuff and you want to check it out, you're also always welcome to come and check it out. We've got a free 7-day trial over at FX Evolution. But yeah, from now on, it'll be daily videos. We'll do the daily videos. I'll be moving into doing some educational videos as well, where we talk about some of the concepts. I think you'll really enjoy those videos. So we'll pop them hopefully on one day each week on the weekends. So we'll have 7 days worth of content, and I think the content will be better. But at the same time, I've got to think about everything in my life, and that's one of the ways that I can do it. So yeah, Mondays will be always pre-market here. We'll do it together. And then the rest of the days will be a little bit separate. So they'll look kind of like this, yeah? So we'll always be doing the front Monday live streams. I'll do shorter ones on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, pre-markets. Then we'll be doing a few private closes as well. And obviously, if you're interested in it, you can check it out. But I thought I'd let you know. I know some will be unhappy with the news, but I think this is still the best way we can do it. Call it Monday Fun Day? Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And I would say that the Monday live streams, they're going to be better. And what I mean by that is not only are the smaller videos going to be better, but I'm going to be more calculated. Your content level quality is going to go up, and we'll find better accumulation, better levels, better technicals, better zones. I'm just going to be more able to do it. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're interested, you can check out on fxevolution.com. If Dave's there, you can post in the room. Otherwise, every Monday we'll be here, and I don't think that's going to stop. So it's going to be awesome. Milos says, love your work. Might get the mentoring towards the end of the year. Yeah, I can't say the mentoring is bad, guys. I put a lot of work in on that. So, think of it as 14 years. I've managed some pretty decent funds. I've done some good work. I think it'll blow your mind. But if you don't believe me, you can go check out some of the reviews we've got as well. Yeah, we're putting in good work, and I think this is going to really heavily improve everyone's action. The private community gets more. The public community gets better stuff. And I don't think that's really a lose. But yeah, keeping up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to have to let someone else do it. It's just killing the channel. What can I say? YouTube, if you're out there, Google, what are you doing, guys? You're killing me. I place it live. It kills the channel. It's terrible. I think that's why Meet Kevin stopped doing it as well. Laurie says the mentoring is fire. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much, Laurie. I mean, Isaac Story, end of an era, but totally understand. Cheers. Yeah, it's not end of an era necessarily. We may do it again in the future, but yeah, time wise, it's tough, hey. So congratulations, anybody that's in any of these hypers this morning. I guess I was wrong on Apple. I thought Apple would hold a red day. If you're in that, I guess you're feeling good. And you're like, Tom, you suck. But you know what? Square did better percentage-ally, so I don't care. So, but still, pretty nice there. Tesla, how's it going? Tesla up 6 now, 1,075. So 1,100 is going to be key here. And the broad market has just tipped over to a green. It really is an attack on certain sectors. If you load up like Coifin, let's look at Coifin here. The one-day Coifin is going to be really crazy. Check that out. So we've got XLY out strong thanks to Amazon and Tesla. We've got IGV software. We've got IBB. So that's the biotech. 10 opening up 1. XLK opening up 0.52. And what this doesn't show is actually IWM. Look at this. Look at this. XME down hard. Materials, metals, mining. All those hot ones just getting slogged. Financials. It's all bad. And it's all risk on. And what actually predicted risk on today, if you think about it, was actually the Bitcoin. And it's going too. All right. Glorious. Thank you so much, guys. You have a fantastic Monday, everyone out there. I look forward to coming to America later on this year. We will be making an announcement about that. I'm not sure on the month and the everything overall, but I tell you what, it's going to be awesome. We had a great time in Cairns. It was great to meet so many of you. And I really look forward to meeting the Americans and everybody else that's able to travel to America. It's easier for many people because guess what? It's awesome. We got some great speakers as well that we'll have in America. We luckily know some pretty nice, pretty good speakers. So these are people that work in, fairly decent organizations and they have some good reps. So that'll be fun. And we look forward to bringing that event hopefully later on the year. I always want to say thank you so much for your support. And I hope that we can get to 100K. That's been a lifelong dream of mine. I dreamt about it really back in 2009. I just didn't do anything about it. I tried my hand at Twitch. No one will ever find my channel, so don't worry. But I tried that. I got to about 130 stream. It was hard, really hard. And I did that back in 2011, 2010. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go all in on trading. And that's what I did. So yeah, 2020 opened up the opportunity. And I always say this to one people. A lot of people say, oh, you can do anything you want. I think that's true to a degree. But really it doesn't really help you. Oh, you can do anything you want. What you're really able to do is if you have a passion for it, but more importantly, you're actually good at it, as in like you know that you've got some kind of competitive advantage, then you've got a real shot. But if you're not actually good at it, it's hard to be good at it. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to really push through those barriers. You've got to have some kind of talent, and all of us have a talent in something, very strong talent. But you do need to realize what your strengths are. And I think that's something that people lie to us a lot about. And that's more of a philosophical kind of thing. But yeah, I feel sometimes you have strengths. Like I have many weaknesses, but you have some strengths. And if you can dial into those, you and get a passion in it, you do very well. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. You have a great day and we will see you later. Enjoy. Bye for now.